The beauty of the internet is the entire Library of Alexandria times 10 is at your fingertips at all times. It's not the means of education or the means of learning are scarce. The means of learning are abundant. It's the desire to learn that's scarce. So you really have to cultivate the desire. Disclaimer: all the things I said in this video are the words of Naval Ravikant. You can find all the resources I used in the description box. What to read. It almost doesn't matter what you read. Eventually, you will read enough things, and your interests will lead you there. That will dramatically improve your life. Just like the best workout for you is one you're excited enough to do every day. I would say for books, blogs, tweets, or whatever, anything with ideas and information and learning, the best ones to read are the ones you're excited about reading all the time. Read old books. When solving problems, the older the problem, the older the solution. If you're trying to learn how to drive a car or fly a plane, you should read something written in the modern age, because this problem was created in the modern age, and the solution is great in the modern age. If you're talking about an old problem, like how to keep your body healthy, how to stay calm and peaceful, what kind of value systems are good, how you raise a family, and those kind of things, the older the solutions are probably better. Any book that survived for 2000 years has been filtered through many people. The general principles are more likely to be correct. How to read. I will start at the beginning, but I will move fast. If it's not interesting, I will just start flipping ahead, skimming or speed reading. If it doesn't grab my attention within the first chapter in a meaningful way, positive way, I will drop the book or skip ahead a few chapters. I don't believe in delayed gratification when there are an infinite number of books out there to read. There are so many great books. Most books have one point to make. Obviously, this is non-fiction. I'm not talking about fiction. They have one point to make. They make it, and then they give you example after example after example after example, and they apply it to explain everything in the world. Once I feel like I have gotten the gist, I feel very comfortable putting the book down. Read slowly. Reading a book isn't a race. The better the book, the more slowly it should be observed. The smarter you get, the slower you read. If you can speed read it, it isn't worth reading. Number of books completed is a vanity metric. As you know more, you will leave more books unfinished. Focus on new concepts with predictive power.
How in modern society we get too much information too quickly, and so our attention spans are very low. So you get Twitter, you get Instagram, you get Facebook, you're just used to being bombarded with information. So you can take that to, you can view that as a negative and be like, I have no attention span, or you could view that as a positive. I multitask really well and I can dig really fast. If I find a thread that's interesting, I can follow it through 5 social networks, through the web, through the libraries, through the books, and I can really get to the bottom of this thing very quickly. It's like the Library of Alexandria that I can research at my disposal.
Treat books like throwaways. On the other hand, we're also taught from a young age to finish your books. Books are sacred. When you go to school and you're assigned to read a book, you have to finish the book. Over time, we forgot how to read books. Everyone I know is stuck on some book. I'm sure you're stuck on something right now. It's page 332, you can't go any further, but you know you should finish the book. So what do? You give up reading books for a while. I came up with this hack where I started treating books as a throwaway. Blog posts or bite-sized tweets or posts, I felt no obligation to finish any book. Now, when someone's mentioned a book to me, I buy it at any given time. I'm reading somewhere between 10 and 20 books. I'm flipping through them. If the book is getting a little boring, I will skip ahead. Sometimes I start reading a book in the middle because some paragraph caught my eye. I will just continue from there and feel no obligation whatsoever to finish the book. All of a sudden, books are back into my reading library. That's great because there is ancient wisdom in books. Reread. A tweet from Illustrated said, I don't want to read everything. I just want to read the 100 great books over and over again. It's really more about identifying the great books for you because different books speak to different people. Then you can really observe those. Read for the sake of reading. You almost have to read the stuff you're reading because you're into it. You don't need any other reason. There is no mission here to accomplish. Just read because you enjoy it. How to memorize what you read. I don't know about you, but I have very poor attention. I skim, I speed read, I jump around. I could not tell you specific passages or quotes from books. At some deep level, you observe them, and they became threads in the tapestry of your psyche, the kind of wave in there. How to build the habit of reading. Read what you love until you love to read. Changing habits. Pick one thing, cultivate a desire, visualize it, plan a sustainable path, identify needs, triggers, and substitutes. Tell your friends, track meticulously. Self discipline is a bridge to new self image. Bake in the new self image, it's who you are now. Don't fear any book. Study logic and math because once you master them, you won't fear any book. No book in the library should scare you, whether it's a math, physics, electrical engineering, sociology, or economics book. You should be able to take any book down off the shelf and read it. A number of them are going to be too difficult for you. That's okay. Read them anyway. Then go back and reread them and reread them. When you read in a book and you're confused, that confusion is similar to the pain you get in the gym when you're working out, but you're building mental muscles instead of physical muscles. Learn how to learn and read the books. Stick to the basics. To think clearly, understand the basics. If you're memorizing advanced concepts without being able to redrive them as needed, you're lost. If you understand the basics, especially in mathematics and physics and sciences, then you will not be afraid of any book. All of us have that memory of when we were sitting in class and we were learning mathematics, and it was all logical and all made sense until at one point the class moved too fast and we fell behind. Then after that, we're left memorizing equations, memorizing concepts without being able to derive them from first principles. And at that moment, we're lost because unless you're a professional mathematician, you're not going to remember those things. All you're going to remember are the techniques, the foundations. So you have to make sure that you're building on a steel frame of understanding because you're putting together a foundation for a skyscraper. And you're not just memorizing things. Because you're just memorizing things, you're lost. So the foundations are ultra important. Build strong foundation. I have people in my life I consider to be very well read who aren't very smart. The reason is because even though they're very well read, they read the wrong things in the wrong order. They started out reading a set of false or just weakly true things, and those form the axioms of the foundation for their worldview. Then, when new things come, they judge the new idea based on the foundation they already built. Your foundation is critical. The best way to have a high quality foundation, you might not love this answer, but the trick is to stick to science and to stick to the basics. Generally, there are only few things you can read people don't disagree with. Very few people disagree 2 plus 2 equals 4, right? This is serious knowledge. Mathematics is a solid foundation. Similarly, the hard sciences are a solid foundation. Microeconomics is a solid foundation. The moment you start wandering outside of these solid foundations, you are in trouble because now you don't know what's true and what's false. I would focus as much as I could on having solid foundations. Read originals and classics. To have a strong foundation, read the classics. For example, instead of reading a business book, pick up Adam Smith's The Wealth of Nations. Instead of reading a book on biology or evolution that's written today, I would pick up Darwin's Origin of the Species. Instead of reading a book on biotech right now that may be very advanced, I would pick up The Eighth Day of Creation by Watson and Crick. Instead of reading advanced books on what cosmology and what Neil deGrasse Tyson and Stephen Hawking have been saying, you can pick up Richard Feynman's 6 Easy Pieces and start with basic physics. Finally, if you want some recommended reading from Naval Ravikant, you can check out these two lists.